Good to see you, my investor friends. This is Lucas here. Now, in today's video, I want to talk about something that quite a lot of people actually reach out to me and ask me about it. Like saying, hey, Lucas, now I'm interested in how you got to your success. Now, I'll tell you this. It is very simple. It is just like, when your life is being planned out, it is very simple. The only thing what you need to do is to follow the steps. When you just think back to your school career, the thing was, the moment you were in school, you didn't have to do anything. You just had to follow the steps that they laid out for you. And the only thing you had to do was to achieve all the tests and finish them, right? That was the only thing for you to do. Now, you got to see it like this. The moment you're done with your school career, your life starts. But all of a sudden, most of the people are just swimming in the open ocean. It feels like that, at least. Well, I'll tell you this. What happened to me is when I was back 17 years old, I got my own coach. And my coach showed me how I should be successful. She asked me the questions, Lucas, what do you want to achieve and how do you achieve it? And that actually got me thinking. And she gave me the blueprint that will help you to get to your success as well. And the first step in this blueprint is define the roles in your life. What kind of roles would you like to have? It is very simple because, back when I was 17, the first role that I had was I wanted to be the good boyfriend, And of course, you got to see it like this. If you are a female, you should change the boy into a girl, of course. Then you want to be the good girlfriend. Now, the question is, of course, okay, so what is a good girlfriend? I don't know what that is. That is for you to define. You can decide what is a good girlfriend, what is a good boyfriend. And this goes for all the roles that you want to have in your life. And yes, you heard it correctly. Your life. You want to think about it. Okay, so what kind of roles do I want to fulfill, and which are those? So the first one was, I want to be a good boyfriend. I want to be a good husband. I want to be a good father. The moment I got kids, of course. The moment I wanted that, on that end, I wanted to be a good businessman, for example. I wanted to be a successful one. I wanted to be a good coach the moment, I would get my certificates and I would want to help people out. Next to that, I wanted to be a good professor. And this is whatever works for you. You got to decide by yourself in your life, what are the roles that you want to take up? What are the roles that you want to fulfill? And each of those roles, you can just make a list out of them, even if you haven't achieved them yet. Because, even when I filled in, this is what my list was. I filled in my list. I wanted to be a good boyfriend. And back then, I already was dating with a girl, which is not my wife. She didn't turn out to be my wife. But, I wanted to be a good husband as well, if the future would bring. But you got to see it like this. You decide what is a good husband or what is a good wife. And it doesn't have to be, you don't even have to be a husband yet. You don't even have to be a father yet. But you can fill that in. You can define that for yourself. What is a good husband? What is a good father? What is a good businessman? Sorry, this is a businessman, not a business, but a business. This all relates to you. This is all personal. Now, the only thing I can do for you is I can ask you the question. You need to fill in all these answers, and these answers are all related to you. These are personal to you. So I don't know if you want to be a coach. I don't know if you want to be a professor. Maybe you want to be an engineer. Maybe you want to be an artist. That is all up to you, and that is what you need to fill in. You need to fill in what roles would you like to have in your life. And you got to give them all a place. That is your first start of your blueprint. The moment you filled in all the roles, now you can think, okay, you know what? I've got all the roles. This is what I want in my life. You can even write down, I want to be a wealthy person. Good for you. What is a wealthy person to you, right? This is something that I want to be I want to be an investor just like Lucas. Good for you. What does an investor to you look like? Don't just write down my name. Don't just write down Tony Robbins. Don't just write down Warren Buffett. You need to fill in what it is for you. You got to define it for yourself. This is a very personal assignment. This is what you should do for yourself, okay? So this is the first step. The first step is to define the roles that you want to have in your life, okay? Now, number two is, of course, the goals. So define the goals. You got to define the goals. Now, each of these roles have a certain goal. It's very simple. It's just like that. And the easiest way to explain this is using the example of Stephen Covey. Stephen Covey talks about, when you die at your funeral, you have all these people around you. What do you want these people to say about the person that died? I always think, what do I want people to say about Lukas, about the role that I had as a father? I want my children to say something about me. Like, Lukas is a great man, he was a great father, blah, blah, blah. And all the things should be my goal for the certain role. Now, even for my being a businessman, I want to be that businessman that people could say, like, I trust this guy. I liked working with him. Good. Then if those are the goals in your life for that role, then you have achieved them. And you got to define all the roles for each of the roles that you have, all the goals that suit to the roles that you want them. Because only then, that is a measure, if you could say, I have achieved the goals of a role. Now, I'll tell you this. Now, my role of being a good boyfriend is already over since, I changed from boyfriend to husband. So what this is what I could say, relation-wise, that we're talking about all the roles of, the first few roles were relation-wise. I've achieved them. I've succeeded in them. So now I can move on to the next role. And this is what you could do as well. Don't stick and you get stuck onto one role. You got to move on. You got to be able to say to yourself, this chapter is closed. Because there's not one role that you take up on your life and you're always that role. When you're in your business or when you're working in your company, you have that hat on of being an employee. But the moment you're home, you could have the hat on of being a father. Or when you're at home with your wife, you could have the hat on of being that good husband. And that is what changes all the time. You got to be aware that there are different roles out there. The different roles out there, and you have your hats. You can change them up and down every time. And that's why you need to be very clear on your own goals for each of the roles that you have. That's something that you got to really think about. Okay? So be sure to know when have you achieved your goal. Number 3 is what is your current reality. And you got it's just making yourself aware. If you want to be a great husband, but you haven't even found your girlfriend yet, well, it's just making you aware. It's not about pitting the pain point, saying like, what? Oh, I want to be a good husband, but I even haven't found a girlfriend yet. It's not about being, pitting the pinpoints, like saying, oh, dude, you're doing so bad. It's not about that. It's about you making you aware that you need to take steps to be able to finish and achieve your goals within that role. And that's very important. I'll tell you this. For my own wealthy businessman role that I have set for myself, the first goal that I set for myself is I wanted to achieve 100K per year as a businessman. I thought, that should be a nice, doable goal in the beginning. Did I achieve it yet in the past? No, I didn't. So I had to take action to get to it. And that is step number 4. Step number 4 is the action plan, action steps. The action steps. And then, of course, for each and one of the roles that you take. You got to see it like this. For the businessman role, I told myself I want to achieve that 100K per year in 3 years' time. Very specific. 100K per year, 3 years time as a time limit. You know what happened? Because I made action steps, I took an action plan and I made it into reality, within 1 year, I already created that 100K per year as a businessman. It's because you made it aware. It's because I told myself this is what I want to achieve. And all of a sudden, of course, you got to think, you know what? That's a great thing. Now I've set myself the new goal. Make a $500,000 in the next coming 2 years. And in the third year, I want to have €1 million a year. $1 million. That's 10 times as much. But because you make it clear for yourself what's going to happen, is you're going to achieve it. You're going to run for it. If you haven't become that husband yet, but you are a boyfriend, well, the only step what you need to do is take steps to become that great husband. Take those steps to leave behind the boyfriend status and go into the husband status. And that is very important. It's very important for you to find out. And you need to take action steps because, hey, like I said, I've created that 100K business per year. Currently, where am I right now? Well, I'm not at a $500,000 yet. That's my current reality. And that's totally fine. It's totally fine that you're not there yet. But it's just to tell you, don't forget about the goals that you set for yourself. Don't forget about the goals that you set for yourself. This is the reality check, and this is what you need to do to get to the actual goal that you set for yourself. Very important and very clear. The moment you do that, it becomes a blueprint. So instead of a school career telling you, hey, you got to finish your secondary school in 4 years' time. Now you have it. Now you have set a goal for yourself. You've made an action plan, and you have a reality check once in a while. And this is step number 5. Step number 5 is reviewing it frequently. You got to review each and every one of those roles that you have frequently. Now I'll tell you this. For my businessman plan, I review once a year. I'll just check, hey, am I on my route for the $500,000 a year goal? Am I? Which is just a yes or no, which is just a reality check. I'm just checking, am I doing the things that I am doing? And if not, what are my action plans for that? And once you're busy with them, you just check again. And that is the cool part. This works like a circle. Because every time again, you can just check, hey, I'm reviewing my roles. Do I have any new roles? Am I sticking to my roles? Is the role still the same? Is it changed slightly? If it changes, you're reviewing all the roles. You're reviewing your current status. You're reviewing the whole process. If something changes, it's totally fine. It's okay to adjust along the way because this is your blueprint. It's like building that beautiful structure, but if something doesn't work, you gotta adjust, and it's okay. But if you don't have a plan at all, if you don't have this at all, what happens is you don't know what to change because you never made a promise to yourself. This is your promise to yourself, the blueprint that you're going to follow. Now, I'm not saying like, I'm not somebody who wants to follow a plan. It's your plan. It's your plan. If you say, hey, I don't want to completely be stuck in a whole plan, that's totally fine. You can make it as concrete as you want. You can make it as abstract as you want. But I'll tell you this, if you make it too abstract, if you say, I want to be a successful investor, if it's too abstract, what's going to happen is it's never going to happen. Especially if you make certain steps in this plan, what will happen is it becomes very, very clear to you. That's the whole idea. And this has worked for me throughout all the roles that I've gotten. Each and every one of them. very clearly. And every year, I do a review with my wife for our life together as a couple, the role of being a great couple. I always tell myself, and I always tell others, me and my wife, we're a golden couple. I do my part, she does her part, and together we make things successful. And that's how you can grow. And every year we still check and adjust wherever necessary. And that is how you can become successful and become like a successful investor just like me. At least this is what I did. Now my question is, when are you going to get started? If you're interested in roles, just write them down. If you're interested in like, hey Lucas, can you check out my roles? Of course I can. Let me know down in the comments, reach out to me, and I will always help out. I'll be sure to reach out back to you as well. Thank you very much for watching today's video, of course. Please give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. And check out my other investor videos on my website, lukasshu.com, if you're interested. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on a next video.